You're now listening to N21FM, a Pokemon podcast. I'm your host, Glenn, and I'm joined, as always, by my wonderful co-host, Johnny. Oh man, I don't even know how to describe to you what we're feeling this week. It's a busy one. But
sure.
Also, we're kind of in a state of limbo right now. So, as we're recording this, we know the results of the Portland regionals mostly. I haven't been following the stream because I have stuff to do, but I'm pretty sure we know those results. They're just not up on Limitless yet, so we are waiting patiently. So we can't see a lot of those results. Otherwise, we would talk about Portland, and I definitely want to at some point maybe try to talk about a deck that made it up there, or we can talk about it briefly in a second. But before we get into that, Johnny, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing pretty good. Kind of getting into the flow of things while still getting stuff organized around here.
You guys moved in all the way?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we're
still
just
unpacking. I'm sure.
Mostly, we got most of it done this week. It's been a lot of work. Cassie's been doing a lot more of it than I have, but she's been super awesome. So
what a champ!
It's been great. Absolutely.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, just kind of getting the flow of things and then prepping. Always prepping.
Yeah, dude. You're on a countdown clock.
Pretty much, sure. Yeah. We're just under a month now, so.
Holy smokes. If you don't mind my asking, what's the due date?
Yeah. Due date is June 20th. So yep, it's coming up. Super excited.
Wow. That is crazy. Crazy town. That's cool, man. I'm glad to hear about it. I've had a pretty eventful week.
Yeah.
As well.
Tell me about
it. Mostly just like work stuff. Like we got out early on Friday, so I came home. Nice. Got to chill for a little bit. I forget what all I did, but it's been a busy Memorial Day weekend. I've got tomorrow off. I'm so psyched.
Yeah.
I never get Mondays off, and so I'm going to a cookout. I've got some fun plans for that. I'm going to try to do some magic tricks up there. I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very, very excited to do stuff like that. What else has happened? Oh yeah, I cleaned up the office a little bit. I got, dude. We were talking about it before the show started, but I've got my tennis elbow is acting up because I went through a stack of like 300 TCG Live code cards. Just like the motion of like grabbing them and putting them in front of my laptop camera, because I have my monitor's here for a computer that's over here, and Live wants to use this one's webcam.
Yeah.
So just the action of just moving cards over there all for literally an hour and a half, probably. Has my elbow flaring up. I feel like an old man. But otherwise, it's been just a good time. Been trying to get things in order. Found out I might be getting a physical space for non-podcast content for the channel soon, so that'll be pretty cool.
So cool, yeah.
My buddy who was planning on moving into his now deceased grandfather's house realized that they're just going to have to demo it and build from the ground up. That means that he's going to be able to design it with a studio in mind. So that'll be really cool.
That's super sick.
I'm very, very excited about that. If nothing else, that'll be a place that I can record like magic videos or things of that matter.
Absolutely.
So exciting stuff.
Awesome. Yeah.
Exciting stuff. I am kind of in like a limbo though right now as far as putting content on the channel and just other developments. So I'm sure you're probably feeling a bit of the same, where you're just kind of like, I don't want to invest into anything too much before my child arrives. I also don't want to like do nothing.
Pretty much, yeah. I've actually, what was it? The other night, like I said I would, was finally able to like pick up some time to just mess around with something that wasn't like Pokemon and video game related, and I sat down and played a run through of like Hades, which I haven't touched in almost a year now, actually.
Really?
It's been a while. Yeah, I love that game, and I was like just surprised. I was like, oh shoot, I hadn't touched this in a while, but it like kind of made sense because I had been playing away at like other things a while back, and then after that kind of nothing for a little while, or like mostly just TCG and whatnot, But yeah, picked up a run of Hades and then just like breezed through, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I still got it.
Nice.
I can still do this easy. This
That's
is easy work. So yeah,
super good to hear
it's
that.
super fun. Yeah.
Oh man. That's what I've been doing also, is I've been playing a lot more Expedition 33. That
Ooh,
game
yeah.
is so good. It's too good. There's a couple of things where you start to, just by nature of the fact that it's built in Unreal Engine 5,
Yeah.
there's some moments where you can kind of see the seams of just like that are present in Unreal 5. Just the way that people like things move in that game, where like sometimes stuff will all be doing, like, for instance, there's a one portion, this is no spoilers by the way, where you're like walking into someone's throne room and they have subjects that are like doing push-ups along the sides, but they're all doing them like completely in sync, and you're like, oh, this is very clearly just like a scripted object. You can see exactly like how it's working, which is a little awkward, and it is a little like kind of rips you out, and you're like, oh yeah, what the heck.
Guitar
but
Hero
otherwise,
audience member moment.
Yeah, but otherwise, no, there's like fights there's audience members that are all doing the same motion too. It's very much like, nice. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
But then you remember it's a team of 30 people on Unreal 5 and that the game is gorgeous, and you're like, I can let this slide.
For that. Yeah. For sure. I mean,
awesome.
That's awesome though.
It's so good.
Oh,
Can't get enough. Well, I'm thrilled to be here with you, Johnny. I'm really excited to get into some cool stuff we have lined up to talk about today. But before we get into that, folks, remember to leave a like and a comment on the video. We're trying to get the Terminal Creative channel to 100 subscribers in the very near future. And let's see if we can get, I don't know, like 20 likes on this video. Sure, why not? Exceed our usual view count. I think that's fine. I think that's a good goal to set. Also, be sure to leave us a comment if you have any feedback for us, any questions, anything you want us to, anybody you want us to have on the show. We've got some fun developments in the future. I want to see about having we're looking into getting Juancho Saldana back on the show for a conversation about his absolutely legendary run lately. We're looking into a couple of other guests that we can't talk about quite yet, but things are in the works, and if you have any ideas, we want to hear about them. Another great way to support the channel and reach out to us, as well as get your input on the show directly, is through our Patreon, patreon.com/terminalcreative. That link is in the description below. For the low cost of $5 a month, you get early access to every episode. You get access to our bonus show, N21 Plus, the 18 and up bonus show where we talk about 21 and up topics, like usually like drinks, smoke, stuff like that. And then also starting in June, we will be having a Q&A feed that every month, where you will be able to submit your questions to the show, to have them read on the show and answered on the show. Very excited to hear from everybody here if you have any of those questions. So keep an eye out. Anybody on Patreon, be sure to look out. I think I'm going to have the question feed up by this upcoming weekend, which should be, let's see, by the end of, the 30th and 31st, I'm going to have that, or no, I'll have that up this week so that you guys can have your questions submitted, so that we can, when we record next weekend, we'll already have those questions good to go for June. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else that they get access to? But yeah, Patreon really helps us out. The next couple of landmarks we're trying to get are obviously upgrading our equipment a little bit, and then eventually paying for an RSS feed so we can really simplify getting all of the information out, all of the podcast out to everybody in a way that's easiest for people to interact with. Just things that are more convenient for you guys. So by all means, check that out if you're so inclined. Remember, it's only $5 a month. That's the price of most packs of Pokemon cards right now. I think it's a pretty good deal, and it's a nice little sweet spot. You get a lot of content. I think we just are about to, we're coming up on 20 episodes of N21 Plus, our bonus show, and there's a lot of fun stuff over there. We got the bonus cast with the cast of Dunsparce and Drampa. We actually got a little bit of exclusive information in there on some stuff that almost made the cut for their podcast. By the way, if you haven't watched the episode with the Dunsparce and Drampa crew, please go check that out. I will leave that linked in the description as well. It's my favorite video I've ever recorded. Absolute blast, and I hope to eventually work with them again. With that all out of the way with, I know that's like it's a big ad read, but it's also like we never intend on running any kind of ads or taking any kind of sponsorships. Like you won't get a mid-roll Dragon Shield ad from us. And that's not like digging at Uncommon Energy. That's just I don't like the idea of advertising a product, whether we use it or not. Like this is a fan-funded project. I want this to be something that you guys care about and you guys support. And we're doing our part too. So be sure to check us out over there. Sorry for the long preamble. It's been 10 minutes and we've talked about our weeks and we've talked about the Patreon. So let's get into what we've got planned today for discussion. We've got three things we want to talk about. We might not get to all of them, but this past weekend, Johnny as well as James from our testing group had a really incredible cup run that we'll talk about in just a moment. We do want to bring up the what is it? What's the tournament that just ended?
The
Portland regional top cut and some drama that happened there. If we can get to it, Buzz City Games, the store that I judge at, had their pre-release for Destined Rivals this yesterday, and then if we can, I'd like to talk about Black Bolt and White Flare for a little bit, if we can. It's a pretty packed schedule. We've got a lot to talk about. So let's dive right in, Johnny. Talk to me first of all. Let's talk about this cup run. We obviously can't get James's input right now, but I want to hear from you, man.
Absolutely.
Tell me how it went.
Oh, it was good. It was a blast. I went into it not really expecting much. I did not expect to do that well. Just based on, kind of like what we talked about last week, with just like not feeling the meta as much. And so, I picked what was comfortable. So I picked Guard of War because,
good choice.
It's out of all the decks that are around right now, it's the one that I like the most, at least. It's the one that I have the best time playing, and the most fun playing right now. And I know that I'm sure that triggers a lot of people, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's Guard of War. Oh, it's the best deck. Oh, it's just someone who's going to net deck and pick.
Are you on the Brent Tonneson 60?
I am not on his exact 60. I have a couple of edits to it.
Do you have the Mew in there?
I do have the Mew in there. I think
gas.
Okay. So I'll go over deck list first, I guess. Let me
talk to me about it. Talk to me about what your exceptions are. Not necessarily like the full 60.
Yeah,
but if you have anything different on like your supporter account, any unique tech cards, or any like specific like what your attacker lineup is. Those are the things I definitely want to hear.
So I'm pretty much on the same attacker lineup, but I did make space for the Mew. I think the Mew is super, super good in there. Even if you're not using it, you can just toss it. It's fine. But being able to have, low hand size and draw 3 cards, burn extra cards to try to get further into your deck, I think Mew alone just for that is fantastic. I think the threat of being able to genome hacking is good. I actually had a game, and I'll get to it a little bit, where Mew could have been utilized better. Now that I like kind of recognize that, it's like something I'm going to keep an eye out for in the future. So I'm definitely running the Mew, and then I'm also running a Poffin in there, just a 1-up.
Okay, sure.
And then supporter count is the same. Like everything else is the same as Brett Tonneson. So I've just cut 1 Nest Ball, 1 Ultra Ball, and gone for 1 Mew and 1 Buddy Poffin.
Seems good.
That's pretty much it. I toyed around with maybe cutting out the Turo and going for an Arvin, but I was like, I don't want 1 Arvin, I want 2 Arvin, and I can't find room for 2 Arvin in this list.
I totally see that.
Yeah. So I kept the Turo in, and I was like, if I was gonna add an Arvin in, or add 2 Arvin in, I would have to cut like Turo and another Nest Ball, and I don't think I'm comfortable with going down to 2 Nest Ball on the list.
No, I totally get that.
So yeah, I like, it's one of those things. Would it be nice to have that item search right now? Absolutely. But I think if you play the deck right, like the way that it's intended to be played, you can just burn through a lot of cards and, get to what you need to get to most of the time. It's more just about like the comfort of like, okay, being more comfortable with throwing away a Guardy into your discard so that you can like stretch it back later, things like that. Being comfortable with getting rid of options. I think that's the hardest part with the deck. And once you kind of like learn that feeling and learn when you can do that, I think it starts clicking. Like that's kind of like why I picked it, was like that started really clicking for me within the last few weeks. And so I was like, okay, it feels good. It's playing almost like Lost Box in a sense with that.
Every deck is Lost Box.
I hate to go back.
I know
to
what
that,
you
but,
mean. Like the idea of storing your resources in the discard to use them later.
Yeah, exactly.
I totally get that. I also think there's something to be said for and this is what I think makes Guardy play so well, is that the supporter line is all draw.
Yeah.
And Turo. Like this is a very like early Sword Shield type of supporter line, right? Where you're playing 4 research, 4 Iono, where it would just be like 4 research, 4 Marnie.
Yeah.
Back in the day. And of course they would play like a boss or two, but like this isn't the same thing, because you don't need boss, because you just play counter catcher.
A boss would be nice in this, but
a boss I'm sure would be nice, but like
I found maybe a couple of times where I would have liked a boss, because like in some games you do get ahead on prizes, and then a boss feels like it would be better than
maybe.
So maybe
I feel like boss is a win more card in this deck, though. Not as much like it's very much like if you're ahead on prizes, you're already doing way better than you should be doing as Guardy.
Generally, yeah.
So like if you can, like, that card would be better spent as an Iono to disrupt your opponent, because you're not behind if you don't play the boss. And that's what I mean by like a win more card.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
But I totally get what you mean, like where you want a boss. Like I played a boss in Rapid Strike Box back in Paradox Rift format because I liked the way that played, and it's nice to just have one.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think that's the biggest merit right now to Guardy, is being able to play just like 4 research, 4 Iono. I don't want these cards. Get rid of them. Don't care.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so it was like one of those things. You know what? I picked it. It felt good. And I just kind of ran with it. So we went. The overall run that I had was 3-1-1. Round 1 played into a Charizard, Dusknoir build.
How does that matchup feel right now? Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, how does the Zard matchup feel right now? Because a lot of people are suggesting that it might be the solution to bringing Guardy back in line with Zard.
I definitely think it is. I went in nervous, honestly, especially round 1, because I'm like, okay, I want to start out like doing really well. If I'm trying at this, I want to start out doing really well. But this was a weird Zard list too. I don't think they were running any Pidgeot, but
was this Big Matt's list?
Matt
with Lippin. The like quad Dusknoir.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a weird one.
It is super weird. It's 4. I was like, when I saw it come in, I was like, what is this? We're on 4 Duskull, because I saw like 2 come down to the bench first, and I was like, okay, so it's a Dusknoir. It's a Zard Dusknoir build. That makes sense. And then I saw another one come down like another turn later. I was like, okay, we're on 3 Dusks. Then I saw another one come down a little afterwards.
Yeah.
Like late in the game, and I was like, we're on 4. And I was like,
we are.
Oh my god. But I just lucked out on that one, honestly. He couldn't hit the Zard. And I got enough energy set up really early on. I got a Screamtail up in the front, and I just started sniping off Charmeleon. And he wasn't on Flame Veil Charmeleon, which I thought, which I was like, what? I didn't understand the choice, honestly. I didn't say anything about it, honestly, because I didn't want to shame the choice, but I was like, you should 100% be on the Flare Veil, I think.
If I can, I think I know what happened, right? So, because I talked with Big Matt about this when he brought it to Get Some's Cup, the one that I absolutely bombed at.
Okay.
So the difference is, it's what they were on the Obsidian Flames one with the 90 HP for Heat Tackle, or was it Charmeleon with the 100 HP?
100 HP
combustion,
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the difference is that the I think it's the 100 HP and the being able to knock out Badu for 1.
Ooh, okay.
And that's the value that you get out of the 100 HP Charmeleon, because he and I talked about it,
Hmm.
because he didn't have a third 151 Charmeleon,
Okay.
and so he had to use one Flare Veil. And it's funny because he got the duality of man, where he had one game where Flare Veil really came up,
Oh
and
yeah.
another game where not having combustion really came up.
Okay.
So there's definitely value to playing the 151 Charmeleon.
Yeah. I
But I definitely see why people would want to maybe include a single Flare Veil.
Yeah. For him, it was definitely rock in a hard place because game one I didn't even bother with Badoo.
Mm-hmm.
My opening hand was good enough that I could just go um, burn a bunch of cards. I ended up going first.
Yeah.
He picked second, but I ended up going first. Burned a bunch of cards without having to play a supporter, which was awesome. Uh, you love to see a turn like that on turn one. You know, you get like
Yeah.
double vessel into like secret box kind of play, something like that. It sets you right up, and then like turn two, you get to like research, play a bunch more, and then I was like, as I'm like playing through the hand, I'm like, okay, do I have a better chance if I Cleffa or Badoo? And I was like, if I Badoo, he's already got, you know, like he got the Charmanders here. I saw him telegraph a Charmeleon and a Duskull to hand.
Yeah.
And so I was like, no, let's Cleffa here. So I went and I Iono'd instead. And
Nice.
I Iono'd, Cleffa'd, and then kept going through the deck because I was like, let's get those guys out of there. He ended up getting them set up anyway, but it was more like, okay, get some of those dudes like out of here, you know.
Yeah.
At the very least, like I was like I can't be certain if he doesn't get them, but I can be certain at the very least that I got rid of, you know, two things for sure. That's
Certainly.
better than that's always like the right choice there in my opinion. So yeah, we took that window. Like I said, it made me a little nervous, but he used a couple dusks to take KOs here and there, or at least like set up damage here and there. And I mean, it was definitely effective, but I think like using the dusks the way he did, not having the Flare Veil, it just set him behind on prizes too much because he like popped two dust goals or to do clops. It's not even noirs, and then it just made it a lot easier to like capitalize on that. I was able to snipe Charmeleons back to back, and he had no more setup after that.
Yeah, that's tough.
So yeah,
I'm interested to see how the like rock paper scissors type of format that we're gonna end up with. It's interesting. We're gonna go back to like a really big setup guys, and then like Bolt's gonna become really popular again. And I'm interested to see how that's going to work, especially when what's it called? When Shaman comes in, and how and Zoroark is gonna feel at the time.
For sure.
Kind of what all that's going to be like. I know there's been some popularity on End Zoroark in recent history, and even some stuff with like Eevee Box, which is wild to me. It's crazy that Eevee Box is doing well right now.
Oh man, I mean, it seems like a solid deck. I need to like.
It's a great deck. I played against one in Atlanta, and it's scary.
Yeah.
It was my only loss the entire tournament. But yeah, so I'm interested to see kind of like what your we can kind of like gloss over your matchups, like just what the deck was, but I definitely I'm mostly interested in kind of what your philosophy was in taking this deck, and like why you made the changes you made, and what came up and what didn't come up, and kind of like if there's any changes you would have made. So let's start with like, let's go over the rest of your matchups.
Yeah, absolutely. Game two, just real quick, was a Guardy mirror against another local player, and that was, I mean, it was a pretty back and forth one. The mirror, surprisingly back and forth. But I think one of the things that I did that helped me gain the early advantage was not buying into the Badoo Wars early. I think that's actually the right way to play Guardy. If you play into the mirror and they start the Badoo War, right? Don't buy into it, and instead play into the Cleffa more, right? Because if they're going to Badoo, they're going to go Badoo, Badoo, Badoo. They have to do it 3 turns to KO the Cleffa. So you've got 3 turns of Cleffa, right? Sure. What I went ahead and did was I used Cleffa 2 turns, and while I was doing that, got set up with some other stuff, got my energy into the discard, drew more through my deck, and then by my second turn there, Clef was almost knocked out, but I have a Monkey Dory that's got Dark on it.
Yeah.
and I can go and get my Badoo out, and I can start the Badoo trade. So I can go Badoo, Monkey Dory, Adrenabrain, Badoo, trade, take a prize, and then that puts them on the back foot. Now they can't candy if they haven't candied yet. They haven't gotten the Curlia set up yet. So it makes that play a little bit easier. And it was definitely something that slowed him down. I think he realized, like, once that happened, it put him on the back foot a little bit. But he was able to, come up. It's a Guardy. Guardy always plays well from behind. And then ultimately the game ended. And this is where the Mew was the right choice, but I misplayed because I didn't use it properly. I had Mew in play, and I had a Screamtail, and I tunneled my Screamtail to try to snipe their Pheasantipity, and realized I couldn't quite reach it. So I was like, okay, we'll snipe the Monkey Dory and stop them. But they had a Screamtail inactive. And if I had actually looked at it and like looked at it closer, I could have. You could have
used Mew to Roaring Scream.
Exactly, and take out the Pheasantipity. I had the energy for that to get enough damage counters. So it was hindsight, but definitely something where I'm like, okay, so I think in my opinion, because of that, I do think Mew still is a proper pick for the deck. I think Mew is correct.
I like Mew a lot. Obviously with with Destined Rivals, like you just put in the Rocket's Mimikyu instead. But like
to a degree, the Mimikyu
like more often than not, it's gonna come up that you want Mimikyu over Mew, because like the prize advantage of having a 1 prizer over a 2 prizer is like impossible to understate or to overstate. But being able to copy an attack in general, right? Especially because it helps your matchups into the BDIF, like with Dragapult. It'll help you with like, think of all the attacks that you can use that with, right? You can use that against Zard. You can use that against Dragapult. You can use that against I guess Flareon if you really need to.
I mean, honestly, being able to use Flareon's 280 against it is
Flareon's
really strong.
Exactly that, yeah.
That's an incredible, and like honestly,
or even wait, is there ever? Wait, this is silly.
I think there's a situation where you need to charge up, but maybe
it's like ever a universe where you what is it?
If you haven't
Sylveon,
reached...
right?
Ooh, okay. Okay.
You just gotta you
Angelite
genome hacking for Angelite.
I mean,
you boss up their Fez and do that.
That's not a bad idea, honestly.
That's silly. I don't think we should do that, but that'd be really funny.
I was gonna say the Flareon decks, they also get out early on if you aren't in a situation where like you can get all of your energy out of deck just yet, but you are in a situation where you can like take a couple of turns to power up your Mimikyu in the back while you're doing Badoo or while you're doing Cleffa. You can do that and then copy like the Flareon, the first attack, punch it back with 130 to build some damage on it, and then at the same time you're also able to get that setup, get some energy just out of your deck onto something in play. It's not a bad idea.
No, certainly not.
It's not the best way to use that, I don't think, but like it's, to me, that's kind of one of those things. It's like it's better than nothing. If you're like really floundering, play to your outs.
Yeah, it's an option.
But
how are the rest of your matchups?
So the next one was a Ceruledge, and we won that one pretty handily. Ceruledge
is not a very good deck.
It's not very good, but it's still kind of spooky for Gardevoir, only because you have to like consciously think about how you take your pricing, specifically because you have to like not put yourself in a position where you can get briared by the other player, by the Ceruledge player. That's the biggest thing there is you can't, you don't want yourself to put yourself at 2 prizes when they have like 2 to 3 left, and you haven't seen Briar yet. In this case, luckily, his opening hand was very bad, unfortunately. He had to Carmine he went first and he had to Carmine a Research, a Boss, a Palpad, a Briar, Yeah, and a couple other things. Yeah, it was a very very rough opening hand. He didn't even have a Sharknet in there. He had to start Varoom with an energy attach.
Oh,
So yeah, it was rough. But like it's a Cyril Edge deck. They can, once they start ramping the damage, you have to be careful of like how you're going to play this out. You have to watch out for bosses, because when they'll start taking boss plays on the Gardevoir, and that's a very real threat. So it's not awful, but you just gotta know that matchup. But it's not too bad otherwise. The next game after that was a pretty standard Slowpoke list against our fan favorite local player, Jason. And
Jason.
Oh
yes, yeah. Jason.
Newer player to the Charlotte scene, kind of like me, but
Bro, that sounded so heartless with the way I like asked like who's
Who?
No, I know exactly who you're talking about. Sorry, it's been a long day.
Oh
Talk
yeah.
it out.
No.
Anytime that like it's somebody that we haven't been testing with, I'm like, who is that? If it's not like somebody we test with or like Shane, I'm like, who is this?
Ooh, I got some spice with Shane too. Shane,
Did you play against
that. I did not play against Shane. I wanted to, for just the sheer enjoyment of that one.
That's an interesting reason to play against Shane.
Shane brought some spice, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah. So Jason just he played the standard Slowpoke list. Kudos to him. He has been grinding a ton on a bunch of different lists and trying to figure out what he vibes with the most, and he has been doing really well.
I respect him a lot. He's jumped right in and done really well.
Yeah, absolutely. But he unfortunately just made a misplay at the end of the game. He did really well. He got me down to I was like down to my last prize. I went like 2-2, and then got down to my last prize left. I was able to do like Clefairy in play to use Drifloon and Gardevoir to KO Dragapults and stuff. And his opening wasn't super great, so I was able to kind of capitalize on that a little bit. But he Iono'd me down to one card, and I had Artisan in hand, and then he plays Buddy Poffin to like start thinning his deck, and he thins out a Badoo onto the bench. And I've got like Monkey in play.
No.
And he gets a Ursaluna out, and he gets the Ursaluna into active, and I'm like watching this, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna charm the Badoo, right? And then he goes, all right, Ursaluna.
He charms the bear?
No, he just punches 240 onto my active Guardy. He's like, all right. He's like, I just gotta hope you don't have it. I was like, I mean, I have it. And he's like, how? He's like, wait, how? Because I hadn't even drawn for turn yet. And I was like, all right, draw for turn, Monkey Dory, 30 to your Badoo. And he's like, I felt bad, but I was like, I'm sorry,
He's
man.
learning. That's how you learn.
I was like, I really thought that like you saw this, and he's like, I just didn't even think about it. And I get where his thought process was coming from too. He was like, he needed to thin stuff out to find what he needed to find to get his outs and all, and I totally get that. But dude just was not the card to grab for that, unfortunately.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, but it's probably a case of like there probably wasn't any other basics left in the deck, or at least like Poffin,
or he was.
Basics.
It's also possible he was thinking like, oh, this is just another option to free retreat or to item lock if I've got to, or whatever.
That's true. Yeah.
Who knows what his thought process was? Like the bottom line is he's learning a lot, and he's learning a lot about like tunnel vision and how that goes. So kudos to him. He's been a real champ these last several months.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I always love playing against him. He's
so fun to play against too.
Yeah. I mean, the last time we played, he played Raging Bolt, and I was on Guardy, and he absolutely destroyed me. Yeah.
Crazy.
He absolutely destroyed me. So like it was, it's just one of those things. It's like it just depends on the deck you play and how you approach the game and what choices you make. That's really it. So yeah, always a fun matchup against him.
Absolutely.
And then game 5 was me and Amelia, and we ID'd because Amelia was 301 and I was 310. So we ID'd, played GLC, locked in top cut.
What was she playing?
She was on the Blissey deck. She was on the Blissey deck. She absolutely farmed the Pults that were there that she played against.
That's so gas.
I don't know all of her matchups, but I know that in general, I'm looking at the list that was put together by Sean. What was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 pult variations.
Jeez.
With like, I think like what was it 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of them are slow pult. 2 of them were Zard pult, and 2 of them were pult dango.
Yeah.
So
Wild.
it was very, very widespread. Yeah, absolutely crazy. But it was super cool to like see that Blissey deck just play out. So Top Cut was me and Josh, friend of local player Josh Mills.
Josh Mills.
Yeah. Huge.
He put
player.
us on to Lucky Helmet for slow pult.
Yep.
It's silly.
It was.
I like it though.
It's definitely a choice. It's not a bad one either. Actually, I kind of like the idea of like being able to say, and instead of like worrying about tanking out the Badoo War, you just put the Lucky Helmet in and accelerate your own win con.
Right.
Or
my thought
like your own
process behind
setup,
it.
at least. Yeah.
My thought process behind it is, especially if you're on Genesect, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you have the opportunity, it's another tool for Genesect if you need it.
Yes.
But in an ideal circumstance, you have it on the Badoo. You're drawing more cards as you're in the Badoo Wars, and then you have your tool on Genesect, so you get to play more aggressively because you have a bigger hand. You're able to take that knockout and not worry about your opponent unfair stamping you because you've got Genesect on the board, and you're able to like just not steamroll, but you're able to just kind of like snowball from there. You're able to get
absolutely.
like play more aggressively and not worry about it, and you just have those outs. So, and that is a large portion of why I like it. I think Josh Mills was super smart for including that. I've also thought about including like a rock helmet.
Yeah.
Or Rocky helmet, so that if you go second and attack first, you can, and they're not like charming Badoo, you can get the knockout going into their turn or going into your turn so that they can't fez. It's an interesting thought. I think with how many charms there are, it's not very practical. And for that reason, I think Lucky Helmet is really, really good.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of the correct way to approach it. Is like right now, with Charm seeing so much play, Rocky Helmet isn't as high value as like Lucky Helmet is, where you can just draw more cards. Just accelerate the card draw instead. Don't worry about trying to like worry on prizes, especially for like slow bolt, where you're playing like that deck's on like 3 counter catcher and 2 boss or something like that.
That's too much. Or
is it like 2 and 2?
I think it's like 2 boss. I think the standard list is 3 boss, 2 counter, or 3 counter catcher, 2 boss. Okay. I don't play it like that because I have a job.
That's fair.
and so I like to actually like finish more than 1 game a month. But yeah, that is what a lot of people are running.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a good idea. So shout out to Josh for that. But yeah, Josh was on a Zard Bolt list.
Okay.
And so once he knew that I was on Guardy, so he leaned heavily into the Zard line for that, which makes sense. I mean, that's what you want to do. He set up Lokes just for draw power, but didn't lean too much in to trying to get Drag Bolt to play, which I think maybe would have helped him out a little bit if he had pushed for those late game in a couple of the games that we had in our match. But it is what it is. Game 1, he just kind of shut me out of it slowly but surely. And I took way too long to concede on that one. I should have conceded a little bit earlier than I did. But game 2 went much faster. He couldn't get the setup, and so I was able to roll it from there and took game 2. He conceded. Game 3, we went to time, and this is where it got a little weird. We went to time, and then it was very clear that there wasn't going to be a winner after turns. And so the official ruling, based on the judge call there, was that after turns, whoever has taken more prizes at the end of turns wins at that point.
Yeah.
And so by that default, he had fallen behind enough where he was turn 0. And so by turn 2, he had only taken 2 prizes. And by by my turn 1, I had also taken only 2 prizes. And I had set myself up in a position where I was definitely going to take a prize on turn 3. So I took a prize, and that's the end of the round. And I knew that he wasn't super happy about it, but like, it is what it is. You play to the best you can, and if you don't make it, you don't make it. But
Yeah.
yeah, he was a good sport about it. And he definitely gave me a run for my money on that one. So
Yeah, he's an incredible player.
Super.
He's going to.
Oh my god, absolutely. Every time I play against him, I'm always like working a lot harder than I think I'm gonna have to. I'm like, oh
yeah, which is not to say like you underestimate him.
No, absolutely
but like
not.
He is a surprisingly good player in our local area.
Yeah.
Like I think when we think of like the really good players in our area, we think of Shane and his like immediate squad, right? We think of like Preston top 16ing at a regional. We think of like people who have the numbers. We think of like Jose, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But like then you look at Josh and you're like, no, he's got the chops to play this game at a really high level. He just hasn't had his super deep run yet.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Everyone's going to have a breakout one eventually if you stick with it and you grind enough with it. And I'm sure that he's going to get his at some point. So
yeah, I think it was Azul or one of the guys on the tag team podcast shared a sentiment that's like, if you're a good player, you should be top cutting, or you should be making day 2 or top cutting 1 out of 2 regionals you go to. And I don't fully agree with that sentiment, but I think like your results will speak for themselves. I think with enough time invested and enough practice, you'll get the results you need, whether you get them fast or get them later on.
Yeah,
and Josh is definitely going to be one of those people that gets results.
Absolutely, Josh. As far as I'm aware, he's made top cut at more. He makes top cut locally more often than not at the tournaments.
Yeah, he is frequently up in top cut.
Yeah, and I think that alone is a testament to how good he is. Like, just go from there. Like take everything else as you will. I think he's a fantastic player. So it was definitely a great match to play into. And then yeah, the end of it, the end of my run at least was top 4. I got beat out by another player. This was someone who was visiting from Greenville, but they were, yeah, I know it was a bit of a drive for them. I'm not sure what his reasoning, at least coming all the way up here for, was, but it might just be like the weekend or the choice to like.
Probably the long weekend. You've got extra time to drive around.
Yeah, but he was also on a Polt Zard list, and so I saw
a lot of Polt Zard lately.
Polt Zard's making a resurgence. I think it's not a bad choice right now, especially I think it's a general answer by Polt to combat Guardy right now.
Yeah.
I think it's because Zard naturally has a better matchup into Guardy than Polt does, and because you can go at the same time, the Draclope line like fixes the issue that Charizard has, which is you don't have a draw engine unless you play the Pidgeot or you play another form of draw. But a lot of Charizard lists right now are either they're on Pidgeot or they're on like Terrapagos and Noctowl to run their item search, and they don't focus on a draw engine. So Draclope kind of fills that gap instead and gives it a draw engine as opposed to trying to go for like hard tutoring something and needing to either evolve to a stage 2 to tutor or fit the criteria of having Terras in play first to tutor. So I like it. I don't think it's a bad idea at all. I think it's been a good idea, and I think it's a great answer to Guardy right now. Clearly,
yeah,
because it definitely gave other Guardy players a tough time, I'm sure.
There's a reason it has results.
Exactly. Yeah. I just ran out of luck at that point. I started just missing my my top decks, and my researches were coming up short, and it just was. I think at that point, by like, was it game 1? I just wasn't able to get much done. Game 2 was kind of similar. I got a little bit in, but just they were able to go in on it. And also once he saw I was like floundering in both game sets, when he started actually building up the Lokes, and he evolved one to Dragapult at one point. After he was like, okay, he believed that I wasn't going to, Clefairy and blow something up. And
right,
game 1, I mean, we went down pretty far. I basically conceded once I lost my win con there, which was unfortunate because I was just like I had win con at one point. It was just a matter of like I had to top deck it, and I just couldn't get into it. Because I was like, okay, I can line up a Mew into genome hacking, blow up a Charizard, you know.
Yeah.
But it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
And so by game 2, I was just like, I was kind of already exhausted, mentally taxed, and it just kept getting worse and worse. So I was just, I think at one point, like we still had plenty of time left, and I, you know, realistically, I could have played it out if I wanted to, but I was at the point where I was just like, I don't have a good chance of winning this. He's at like 2 prizes left. I'm at 4 still.
Yeah.
I have a bad board setup. Even if I get into things that I need for a good board setup, I still have to work on that, and it's going to take multiple turns where he's still going to aim for prizes and everything. I was just like, that's it, and I was like, you're game, dude.
Yeah.
So
I can see why you do that. I normally am a proponent of playing out, especially game 2 and game 3.
Yeah.
Especially on a deck like Guardy. But at some point, man, you're tired.
And
I get it.
I hit my personal wall, at least at that point. And like reasonably, I did not see a good way for me to win game 2. And so that's why I was just like, you know, let's go for it. But it was, you know, it was a cool run. Friend of the show and testing partner James went all the way, took the top spot. It was a fun little way that they that this happened. Actually, I think by the end of it, James,
through legal means that were not decided by chance or any coercion.
There was no
These
chance.
Players are not committing any illegal decisions of games.
There was no chance. There was no coercion. There was a simple discussion on the prizing of a free tournament. And as such, James took the win. His opponent conceded, and James walked away with a champions mat and some packs and a Team Rockets deck box, which was really cool.
So sick. Dude, shout out James. It's so cool to see the testing group get like the results, because James, first of all, has been putting in work lately. He was on Dengo Pult, right?
Yeah, so he was on Dengo Pult.
Bro is addicted to Dengo Pult.
He went and transitioned to a slower build. He basically combined the slow Pult idea with Golden Go.
I saw him send that in the group chat. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go for it. Yeah, it's super, super sick. It's such a fun idea. Let me go look at the list that he sent.
I'm gonna pull it up too.
Recently, and see if I can.
I thought he was crazy because he sent the message. He's like, he literally said, "I have a crazy idea, but I'm trying to decide if it's too far gone. Going slow with Dango."
Yeah,
and I'm looking at it. I'm like, you're a maniac, because he's got 2/2 gimmies, then Golden Go, and then 2 Dreepy, 2 Dracloak, 1 Dragapult, and then 2 Budu, a Monkey Dory, a Fez, and a Genesect. And then like Ciphers, Jocks, 1 Brock, which is interesting. Just a really wild deck list. Like a lot of 1-ofs, very strange looking. But it's super cool that he got the results with it. Absolutely bonkers.
It's kind of innovative in a way. It plays better to into the Budu match, and I think because right now, because Golden Go is so reliant on go second and get your TM Evil Plague and go from there. Excuse me. I think that if you run a deck like this instead, where you're like, okay, I like with this deck he can feasibly go first and not lock himself out of the game completely. It's not a very impactful turn 1, but if he goes first like that, but it's still exactly, like it's still a turn. It still lets him play the game on turn 2, and I think this is so cool for that.
You know what's interesting? I wonder if you ever play Cyrano in Golden Go.
Ooh.
Or like Dango Pult. I want to propose that to him and be like, hey, think about this. because that's how people are playing Zoroark right now as well.
Yeah.
Which is not that that's a great deck. I think that Golden Go is probably a better deck right now.
No, I think that's awesome.
It's something to consider for sure, because being able to just like have a Hyper Aroma on a supporter is pretty cool.
Yeah. But
so
yeah, it was
something
super
to think
cool
about.
to see that. Overall, though,
yeah, it's awesome to see this squad getting results.
Yeah,
it just means that
cup.
all 4 of us have to get a cup win.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Still gotta aim for it, but it was definitely an interesting one. The weird things that happened with it, there was a little bit of weird sort of drama. One of the players, she made 3rd place by the end of Swiss, and then dropped after Swiss.
Weird.
Yeah, I think she was having some personal issues or something like that. Not sure what happened, but she decided she couldn't. Yeah. She didn't really share much. She just kind of was like, I don't think I can do anymore, and just packed up and left. Told the judge to drop her, and that was that. So it kind of skewed things slightly. It's one of those things where I think it made, if she had dropped before the round was over, it would have, actually no, if she had dropped before round 5, it would have thrown everything out of whack, because you would have had a lot of people with like 9 points instead in top, and that would have been, or not in top, but just like a lot of people with 9 points
on the bubble, right?
On the bubble, and that would have been really weird. But it basically put one of the local players on the bubble, and so the top cut looked like, what was it? So we had 2 Guardy players on the in the top cut, me and the other Guardy player that I lost to early on. We had 2 Poltzard players. We had a Polt Dango player, of course, with James. We had Amelia's Blissey deck, and then the other outliers that I thought were really interesting, and I need to pick their brains about it a little bit to see if I can figure out how they made it that far, because these decks were like outliers for sure. One was a Ins list. Zoroark.
Was it the one with? Was that the one with Maractus?
It was an Ins Maractus in with
Ins
Maractus. Oh, right, that would have been sick. No, it was a very control heavy Ins list. I didn't get to see it in play very much.
Oh, I know his name. He's
Daniel.
In close. Yes, Daniel.
Yeah.
He played at Get Some with the same list, and it's a very cool list.
Okay, yeah. He plays a lot with Shane and Shane's group.
Yep.
And so yeah, it was super cool to see that in action, or rather, it was super cool to see that like do well. I wanted to see it in action, and then the other one that was the outlier, and I didn't see this one in action at all, was a Hops list, a Hop Zacian list.
Yo.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they ran like the Arch in there, or if they were like pure Zacian. From my understanding, it was a Zacian Iron Valiant like focused list.
That's cool.
And I think that's super cool. I think probably the way they got it is they just got to farm a bunch of like evolution decks.
Yeah.
Because like that's the thing, that's where that deck excels in, is it excels at like early game. If you can't pass the early game checks from that deck and you can't get yourself set up, then you just lose to it. If you can get set up and you can make it to the mid to late game, usually decks like Dragapult, decks like Gardevoir have an easy time making a 4 to 6 prize card comeback against that deck. So it's kind of interesting, but yeah, I think they just farmed on the Evo decks and dodged stuff like the like Raging Bolts. There was a couple of Raging Bolts, but there weren't too many. I think there was 3 total. Yeah,
not bad.
And then a couple of, there was another, as far as like the rest of the metrics go, there was only 1 Joltik box there, which honestly, super happy. Didn't have to
one
play
too
into
many, personally.
Didn't have to play into it. Was super happy about that. I hate playing into Joltik box, personally. Yeah, don't like the deck. And then we get finally, like, the entire room looked pretty standard for the most part, with some Guardies, a lot of Dragapult, some Charizard, the ends, the the couple of random outliers that make sense, like the Joltik box, like the Sarah-Ledge deck. The one of the weirder outliers was a Mamoswine Garchomp list.
That's cool.
They did not do very well, unfortunately, but still a cool concept. Like the idea. And then we get to I want to say probably the most fun deck that was there, played by Shane. Um,
Shane
Shane
playing a fun deck? What the?
Shane, because he's gotten his points and he's pretty solidly locked in for his World's Invite at this
Yeah.
point, was given a list by his testing group partner Josh.
Yep.
Different Josh. And that list was a Tatsugiri EX.
Huh?
It was Tatsugiri EX.
That's
There
crazy.
was
He's on his comedy stretch right now. Did you see what he sent to the Discord today?
I
Where he brought his
did.
deck list in on a giant rubber ball?
Yeah, I saw that. I thought that was hilarious, dude. Absolutely
So
insane.
crazy.
Yeah. Oh man, no, he clearly had a lot of fun with that.
That's good.
Josh said that it was more of it was more Shane's idea than his, but Shane just called him and Josh helped him kind of like put it together. I still just think it was so cool to like see it. Shane was absolutely he would like, you know, make it. He'd like tell his opponents who clearly were able to like beat him in a couple of turns. He's like, okay, hold on. Just let me have a turn 3 because this will be so cool to watch happen. You don't. He's like, I'm not going to win. Just let me have a turn 3. And so like most of them were still just beating him anyway.
That's so funny.
But he did get the Tatsugiri attack. I do not remember that attack name. Cinnabar Lure, I think is maybe that's it.
That's correct.
Oh man, where is this dude?
Yeah, Cinnabar Lure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. He was able to get Cinnabar Lure off a couple of times, and so he had to he had the deck just packed in with like stage 2s basically. So there was like exactly one Tatsugiri EX, and it was the only basic in the entire deck. And even with that, in all 5 rounds, no Judge Mulligan at all.
That's wild.
He got to 7. That was the worst he got to, was 7.
That's scary.
Oh
That's
yeah,
super
but
fun though.
it was fun to watch. Yeah, absolute. I'm sure he had an absolute blast. And then yeah, like you said, today he shows up with his deck list on a rubber ball.
He's in his clown era right now.
Yeah, plays the quad Ogre Pond deck.
Crazy.
Absolutely crazy.
I love it.
Yeah, it was a great tournament overall. A very solid cup.
Nice, man. I'm glad you got some more time being able to like rock with Guardy, because I think I'm about to pivot to Guardy for a little bit. It just seems like such a good deck to play right now. I'm looking at like Guardy and Zard.
Yeah,
really closely.
I think right now, if there was another deck that I was going to pick up, I would probably go to just rebuilding Zard, mainly just because it's like I never played a ton of it, but it's more that like I played enough where like the lines just they make sense, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Zard's a very like comfort pick, I think, for a lot of people in the community because it's a deck that like people got for free on TCG Live. It's so easy to play into. It's a very low skill floor, but surprisingly high skill ceiling deck.
Yes,
and
certainly.
I think that's why it's probably one of the best picks for a lot of people. And it's right now, it's clearly a good pick because it plays into the rock, paper, scissors meta kind of well. You can go into like a good matchup against Guardy. You have a okay matchup into Bolt. And then, you know, just an absolutely atrocious one into Bolt, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, Bolt is also like not very real.
Yeah, that's true. Bolt is not real. Bolt is absolutely not real. I will stand by that. I know that people will say, "Oh, but it's good now." The only good versions of Bolt that exist right now are if you are rocking the heavy baby Bolt line. Then
a good Bolt is a dead Bolt. There is no good way to play Raging Bolt EX. I think Raging Bolt EX is a bad deck. It's cool that people are playing Baby Bolt now. I think Raging Bolt sucks, though. It's not a good deck.
Yeah. Luckily, that deck dies with the next rotation, regardless.
Woo!
So Sada, even though Bolt is a H block card, Sada is G. And it has to rely on Crispin, which isn't to say that like it doesn't have anything, but it loses a lot.
Yeah, it loses a lot. I think ancient decks lose. Well, you know, just
I mean,
next rotation is going to be it's a ways away. We don't have to worry about it right now.
Yeah. As a Roaring Moon fan, I've already more into that deck. I'm probably going to take it apart again.
Nah, they totally reprint Dark Patchy and Black Bolt White Flare.
Oh man,
100%.
give me like one or two good formats of of Roaring Moon again.
Roaring Moon on top.
Yeah, but even with Dark Patch, we still aren't good enough. No more Pokestop, no more Radiant Greninja. I can't burn through my deck and go down to like 16 cards left in like 2 turns.
Yeah.
Oh man.
No, I get that.
Yeah. Sorry to harp on that for like.
Bro, you're fine.
The last 50 minutes.
That was kind of the topic of the episode, was to talk about your cup run and how things have been going for the testing group. I don't think we're going to be able to get to Black Bolt White Flare stuff today, which is fine by me. I think I'd rather wait till the full set list comes out anyways. But to put it briefly, there's some really cool cards in that I'm really, really excited about. And there's some other cards that I'm like, why would you not make this better? That's the spark notes of my thoughts on the set so far. But
coming to you soon.
Yeah, true. Coming very soon. You'll get early access to it over on patreon.com/terminal creative. Oh my god, the link's in the description. I'm a genius of marketing. Put my ads everywhere. I can't believe I slipped it in there. You didn't even notice.
So how did your
so dumb.
No, you're good. I was gonna say, so how did the pre-release go for you? You were hosting that at Buzz City.
Dude, surprisingly well, actually. We almost capped. So
nice.
Buzz does this really cool thing where they don't really advertise super well about what's going on. So like a lot of the times advertising is kind of left up to me, but therefore their events don't always get enough like reporting attendance to get enough materials for other stuff. Like the last pre-release we did for Journey Together, I think was really small. So we only got one kit for this, and 9 people came in. We had several folks come in late, but luckily it was before I had paired round 1, so they didn't get like a round 1 loss.
Nice.
Like half of the tournament came in late, so it was super cool. Somebody pulled the Team Rocket's Meowth SIR, which I thought was super cool. And somebody else pulled like the Typhlosion. The pulls were insane, actually.
Nice.
I wish I had gotten any of them. I got a Rabska EX and a Yan Mega EX and like an Energy Recycler.
No.
Oh, I got a Rocket Energy, so I think we're moving up there, and a Shaman, so some staples. But like, I didn't get anything good. I'm not stressing about that. But it was cool to get some folks that I had never seen before into the pre-release and talk to them, and some folks that hadn't played in years. So
hopefully some more people to play, locally in our standard stuff,
Yeah. Mabel pulled up. It's always cool when she shows up to an event. Like it's nice to have people who are there, and then like a couple of folks who were in from like out of town who had like just driven from an hour away at another store.
Nice.
So nice turnout at the pre-release. I hope that they saved the TDF file, because I did not save it. I totally forgot to report it. But whatever. What are you gonna do? Like I'll just have to try and report it next week. I've got the cup next weekend anyways.
Yeah.
So by the way, if you're seeing this live on free feeds, make sure you come to the Buzz City Games League Cup. Pre-registration should be online. I'm really excited about it. I'm very excited. I'll just have to check and make sure that that TDF got uploaded for the tournament and saved somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know if they closed out. I'll contact them probably tomorrow. But yeah, it was nice to have a full tournament. We haven't had one in a while, so got to stretch.
Super awesome.
Stretch my legs a little bit. Test myself as a judge, because I had some weird ones where people were like forgetting how to mulligan properly, because these people hadn't played since like 2006.
Ooh, okay. Well, I mean, was it mulligan rules were different back then too, weren't they?
Yes, everything was different back then.
Yeah.
So like, there were people who hadn't played in so long, literally like over a decade. So it was cool to talk to old players, let them know what was going on. Just a good time. I enjoyed that tournament quite thoroughly.
That's super awesome.
excited for the cup this Saturday. Like, it's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
hopefully nice and big, unlike the last one. The last one was really small. I'm hoping that we can get way more folks in on this one and just have a good time.
Yeah.
I'm ready to see people do well and have their wins. It does make me sad that I can't play in it because I really do want to try and get a cup win before
No, that's
the
super
end of the
fair.
season.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be fine to just play at other cups. I think Get Some has another cup before end of season, right? No, it doesn't. That was the last one. I'll have to find one more cup that I can go to win.
Yeah,
try and get a champion mat out of.
See if there's anything on the schedule.
I'm not totally sure.
Next weekend,
but
regardless, it looks like next weekend is the last weekend for cups in general.
So I guess I'm going Sunday. We're making a day out of it.
Yeah,
it'll be fine.
If there's cups on Sunday next weekend, then yeah, that would be it.
Oh well, if not, that's fine. Like, we can call that end of season, and we can kind of do like a season recap here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it'll be fun.
What NAIC is the 13th through the 15th, right?
True. Yeah.
So that means that next weekend will be 2 weeks prior to that, which seems to kind of fit with like when that stuff will probably be ending. Yeah, I'd imagine a lot of cups are probably ending a couple weeks before, and then after that, you're just gonna have challenges.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Oof. And with June being the month that people are doing like their big, like, Pokemon is doing TPCI is doing a promo where if you do 4 tournaments in the month of June for like your league, you will get I think like a full table size mat, as well as some other fun promotional materials that we'll be able to give out. So Buzz is going to be doing GLC every Wednesday night at 6:30.
Yeah.
In order to get that promotional material and that table mat, and I'm excited to give those things out to people. I'm really hyped to see what promos come through and just pass them out like candy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm really hyped about it.
I'm definitely hoping to be able to do at least 2 weeks.
It's nice that there's just more GLC happening too. Like we talked about on our last episode where we were kind of bored with the format. It's cool that we have other ways to play, right? Like, GLC rocks. I need to rebuild my water list because it's just bad. But I love that format so much. It's cool that we have that and other alternate formats. I was just thinking, like, I really want to rebuild Rapid Strike Box for like our Paradox Rift format that we've been playing.
Yeah, that'd be
people are talking about cubing and stuff right now, and I think a lot of people are kind of bored with the format. So having the option of playing GLC frequently and getting some cool exclusive stuff out of it's going to be really, really enticing, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, I will say, so I did do a pre-release on Friday, and I got this one. I didn't win any of my rounds, but my goal was not winning the rounds. I built a deck purely to just try to be as chaotic as possible.
Nice.
And that one because of the build that I got. And I was gonna, it was just kind of like the GLC talk kind of made me think of it. I built a Rockets deck that was super, super control focused.
Okay.
So I had like the Chingling in there to discard a card from hand. I had the Murkrow in there to torment as often as possible. And then a surprise, at least for the format, for the pre-release format, definitely not a good card, but a good card in the pre-release was this Team Rocket's Raticate. Is actually pretty cool. It's got an attack for 1 colorless. It does 90, and then the Raticate has 90 HP as well. And then the attack says that you flip 2 coins, and if both coins are tails, then you also do 90 damage to the Raticate.
Jeez.
So it knocks itself out unless you have like some way to modify its HP. Which obviously in pre-release I don't really know how you would. Well, I guess you'd like Luxcape it, but like it's not a good card.
No,
it's not a good card in standard. That said, I mean, I only lost 1 coin flip like that.
That's pretty cool
because you have a 75% chance to not knock yourself out. So you might as well take the risk. 90 damage for one colorless is like a super low to the ground attacker.
Yeah.
In that format. So it was pretty cool. But we just got burned out by Tyrannotars. So,
Yeah, T-Tar is really good in that format.
Yeah. I think.
Speaking of control play, by the way, I don't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, go for it.
Please tell me you saw the clip that, who was it? Was it Zach who sent it? The Sander Wojcik -17 tweet.
Oh my god. Durant
Meal is back.
Yep.
there was a clip that Sander Wojcik posted on Twitter, I believe, of him just destroying somebody's deck using, it was Lily's Comfy, and then an Area Zero and a Dunsparce engine and like Super Scoop Up, and
he did the Chien-Pao.
Yeah, he did the Chien-Pao bump that we talked about.
Bump. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Just
high tier
lots of like, he would bench 3 Durant EX, mill 3, get them in the discard, cycle them back with a Super Rod, draw more cards to get them back. Or no, he used like bug catching set.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, incredible clip. Sick. So good.
Oh yeah.
I love seeing what Sander puts up, but like, control's so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even know what I was getting at this point, but the point is
it was super cool to see like a really fun control like clip there, and it was fun to like really mess around with stuff, get like a hands on with some of like the lower tier control cards in this Destiny Rival set. I know we talked about how like the set seems very kind of mid, and I still think that's rings true. I think the set ring is like, maybe not the set being mid, but like the trainers archetypes as a whole, the owner's Pokemon, we talked about being mid, and I think that still holds up. But it was cool to see that Pokemon like the TPC is messing around with more and more control options still, that they still clearly want to influence people to play stuff that isn't a straightforward win con, or at the very least not necessarily straightforward win con, but like stuff that isn't a straightforward just go do big damage number. I think they're looking at what they've come out with in the past year and said, some of this is too much, we need to go in the other direction. And so they're starting to kind of lean towards, okay, what if we do item lock, what if we do hand discard, what if we do mill, what if we do ways to stop your opponent from attacking with their good attack, or force them to use a bad attack to attack, stuff like that. Seeing Torment come back into it was super cool to like just mess around with. And so I'm kind of hoping for more of that,
Certainly. Yeah, I like it a lot. I think it's really valuable to have different ways of playing this game. I've noticed that, especially with like Black Bolt and White Flare coming up soon, TPCI is really taking a different approach to game design.
Yes.
Where a lot of the times lately we've been like, oh, let's print something broken and then print something to counter it, and then print something broken and then print something to counter it, which is bad game design. Do not be fooled. That is terrible game design, and it started a long time ago. But it needs to be rooted out, and it's starting to make steps towards it with Black and White. But I just hope that we don't get anything else, that they don't make this step and then they're like, actually, let's make something broken again. So we'll have to see. I'm really excited about some of the Black and White stuff. I don't really want to get into that right now because there's too much to talk about, but I think that it's a promising sign. It is definitely an olive branch from TPCI to kind of give us these cards that are not bananas, except for that Archeops, but like not like bananas, but like really potent in a different and unusual way.
TPC prints a broken doesn't print a broken Archeops challenge impossible.
Yeah, truly. Are there, hold on, I need to see how many Archeops cards have ever been printed.
I think I don't know if it's definitely not all of them are broken, but there is a sizable number of really strong Archeops cards, starting with the very first one ever printed, with ancient power ability is stupid, dude.
Yeah, ancient power
Oh my
broken.
god. Just don't, you can't evolve Pokemon
No
anymore.
evolving.
I mean, broken enough that it's banned and expanded.
Yeah.
Broken enough. Jeez.
Swift acrobatics and U-turn Archeops cards are not very good, but then the next one we get is Primal Turbo, and this next one is like the crazy devolution whenever you want.
Yep.
So,
once a turn, Devo Archeops, Primal Turbo Archeops, Ancient.
We'll definitely have to save that for a future episode because there's a lot to talk about with Black and White. But I think I'd kind of like to, maybe, unless there's anything else you want to talk about, we can wrap it up there. Seems like it's been a really good weekend for both of us,
absolutely.
and it'll be nice to kind of hang out tomorrow. I know I'm excited to sit by the fire, have a couple beers, or otherwise friendly, like family-friendly approved beverages. Thanks, YouTube. I'm stoked to chill out, just have a good time, have some burgers and dogs, classic American type stuff. Maybe do some Magic. It'll be good. It's nice to have a long weekend. And to like have kind of a renewed hope and excitement for this game that I love, which is hard to come by lately.
Yeah, I think we both needed that kind of like break away from everything and a little bit of a vent to, take a look at it again and then go, oh, this isn't, things aren't the worst,
Yeah. We're not in doomer mode anymore.
yeah, for sure. It was nice to have that breathing room and take a step back and reevaluate. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm also kind of excited for like the end of the season because that is going to bring about a nice gap in play, and we're gonna have months where people are just exclusively looking at what's going down with new sets online only. Which will be interesting. And then people will only be looking towards, Worlds, obviously. So it'll give us time to, enjoy some of the alternate formats even more, and then also see what changes to look forward to for the next season.
Yeah. I'm really stoked for the future of the game, man. It's gonna be a good time. And I totally agree with you. Like having that downtime will be really cool for everybody to just kind of get in the lab, try stuff out. There'll be a lot of stuff on online scenes which will be worth looking at. And it'll be cool. I'm very, very excited about it. Very excited about the future of this game, and very excited to seeing how we handle our first off season as a podcast as well. To go ahead and get everybody warned and acclimated now, I think it's a good time to announce. We don't have dates set in stone yet, but in sometime in the window with NAIC and Worlds, there will be a short break from the show. We'll be taking an off season just to kind of get a good reset, make sure that we're where we want to be as far as production quality goes, as far as making sure that we're as in this as we want to be, making sure that like writing and production are as good as they can be for you guys, and that the patron experience is also really, really excellent. So we're going to be taking a short break. We're not sure how long or when it will be, but you will definitely be able to expect season 3 of N21FM early in the regional experience, early into the next season of Pokemon. So keep an eye out for that. We're not going to be taking a break super, super soon. Just understand that is coming. So there will be a short break. Maybe a good time to go to the Patreon and catch up on old bonus content. It's maybe a good time to I don't know, hang out with us in person, talk to us. Maybe a good time to catch up on Dunsparce and Drampa. Please go watch their show. It's so good. I'm not paid by them, by the way, or anything like that. It's just genuinely such a good show. I've been 100%. Re-listening again. They're actually doing talkbacks now, where they're going and like doing like director's commentary type stuff over their old episodes. It's very fun, very interesting.
That's
so
super awesome.
It's exciting. But that's like me fanboying out. So let's I won't talk about that. I won't detract from that. But yeah, break coming up in the near future. Keep your eyes peeled for announcements on that type of stuff. Eyes peeled for other videos from this channel. I'm looking at trying to get some other stuff uploaded. Oh, I am going to also announce, while we're doing kind of like announcements and housekeeping, the Atlanta vlog is canceled. It kind of is dead in the crib. As we talked about when we got back from Atlanta, all of the footage that I recorded is completely silent because my camera did not record audio. And it also, because there was something like the settings got reset, it also has a large incorrect date and timestamp in the top left corner. It is not the correct date, it is not the correct time, and it is not removable through editing software. So the Atlanta vlog, unfortunately, is dead. I will hold on to that footage to cherish for myself, but nobody else gets to see it. So it just is more practice for the next one. I'm excited to record the next regional we all go to.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's kind of the end of my announcements. Johnny, anything else from you, buddy, before we kind of sign off for the evening?
I don't think I've
and
got
go over
anything.
to the bonus.
Yeah. I think I'm all set. It's a good episode.
Yeah, I'm down. It's nice to get back into the grind of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of the grind, we are going to go do probably one of the shorter bonuses. We're going to go continue our Slay the Spire card rankings videos, where we are going to go over all of the power cards for the silence in Slay the Spire. We're going to take turns individually ranking them. And me as a less experienced player, Johnny as a veteran Slay the Spire player. And we're going to compare notes and talk about it a little bit. So if you're interested in that kind of content, please join us over on patreon.com/terminalcreative and let us know what content you came for, something like that. I don't know. But thank you all for coming and watching, listening on Spotify. I'm super excited to see kind of how the season closes out and how the next one starts. And I'm excited to see you in the bonus as well. So we'll see you there. Peace out.